G'day guys, it's 75 days until we're taking this thing to Bathurst and we have a lot to do, so let's get stuck into it. That's right guys, 75 days until we go to Bathurst. My little phone countdown app there is telling me 75 days, 13 hours and 36 minutes until we drive to Bathurst. So yeah, it seems like a lot of time. It's going to dissipate very quickly, you know, due to family, my work with Street Machine, my work with my other clients. I've just got another big client in that we're going to be doing some stuff with, which is exciting and hopefully bring some money in for the family. Yes, that time is going to dissipate very quickly, and days like today are few and far between. I have that my daughter's at daycare. I've finished up my work with Street Machine for the week. I actually have a day to myself in the garage, so I'm going to knuckle down. It's already 11 o'clock because I had to do a Teams meeting. So we're going to get stuck into today, and the first thing we're going to do is get all these names, oh my Lord, all these names that you guys amazingly are supporting me on the car. So there is so many names here, oh my God. It's incredible. Thank you so much, guys. I'm pumped. But I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how amazing you are, because you all know how incredible you are anyway. But we need to get them on the car. It's the first thing I want to do. So I've made up a little template here because I want all the names to be at an angle. So we're gonna put that on the bonnet and we can angle the names like so, run them all up. I'm probably gonna use a bit of masking tape just to stick them down, what am I trying to say here? Just temporarily in place. Jesus, my brain is not in gear today. Temporarily in place. We're going to do first come, first serve. So whoever donated first is going on the bonnet. I'm going to start driver's side, passenger side, and then we'll go up the roof. We're going to see how many spots are left over, if any, and then I think we're going to have to go no more, even though everyone's been very generous. So yeah, look, you don't need to see all this. So we're going to put a time lapse down, and you guys can watch all this unfold as we make this livery very, very busy. And there we go, after 2.5 hours, we are done. Check this out. So how freaking cool is that? There's one name missing, unfortunately. I don't know why. Somehow they just got lost on the spreadsheet. So John, I'm very sorry. I am going to cut your name tonight and put it on the car. I've got a space for you up the front there in the order that you donated in. So sorry, John, I will have you on the car tonight, and I will get you in the next video or this video or something. So sorry about that. But yeah, everybody else is on there. And you know what? It kind of looks cool. It's a little bit wonky. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not a vinyl dude, but how cool is that? That is sick. And it flows so well. Like it goes up the bonnet, up the roof. I gotta get some drone shots of this because it looks unreal. And like from a distance, it kind of just looks like a pattern. And then you get close up and you see all the names. So it's, yeah, it's unreal. And it's super humbling that you guys are willing to help me out. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, guys. It's really, really appreciated. Anyway, now the car looks pretty and we've got all your names on there. Bar Johns, I'll fix you up. We need to get this car ready. So we have a lot of parts to go on this car, starting with, I think we're going to start with the rear brakes. Let's get on to that. Alrighty, so I'm not going to film this in detail because you guys have seen this sort of stuff before, and if you need to know how to do drum brakes, go and look up Chris Fricks on YouTube. He's a legend and he shows you how to do all this sort of stuff. I'm just going to do some time lapse and blitz all this because I've got a lot to do today. It's already 1:30. I've got to pick my daughter up at 5. I've only got a few hours. I want to get drive shafts in and all sorts of stuff. So what are we going to do? The hubs look terrible, the drums, sorry. So I'm going to give them a coat of silver paint. We've got brand new, what do you call them? Pistons? The bits that separate the drums. So we've got these from Wayne to break some more. He's a legend, lovely guy. So we've got proper Bosch drum pistons, so we can put them in. There's no point even servicing this thing, seriously. These are like 18 bucks each, just get new ones. So we've got those, and I do have some brand new drum shoes that I've had sitting in this car for a year and a half, because I thought I'd wear through them. You don't, they last forever. So we'll check them out. If they need changing, we'll put new ones in. If not, I'm just gonna leave them in there. Anyway, let's whip these wheels off, get these new cylinders in. We've got to bleed them, all sorts of stuff. Let's time lapse this puppy. Oh my God, I forgot what a ball lake bloody drum brakes are. They suck. But they're done. So I've still got to paint the drums themselves. But yeah, they're good. So I ended up changing the drum pads, the shoes, sorry. So I've changed the shoes both sides. One of them was really worn. The others weren't too bad, but yeah, one was pretty buggered. So all new shoes. So I've got the old ones down there. New pistons, and all cleaned up, all the way it should be. Now I just want to, I've just got to bleed them, so I'm just waiting for my wife to come out, give me a hand, and we'll just give these a clean up and give them a rattle can over with the nice silver, which would be good. And that is that done. As always, everything is taking way longer than expected. That was like an hour and a half just to do the rear brakes, but they're so fiddly, and I don't have a spring. Best thing you can do if you're ever working on drum brakes, get a spring puller. So it's like a T-bar with a hook on the end, and you just grab the spring, pull it, and you can hook them in position. It's amazing. I don't have one. I borrowed my dad's last time, and I really wish I did. I'm gonna buy one. Anyway, good thing about the drums on these, they last forever, so I won't have to touch them again for this year at all. Wicked. So while I'm waiting to do those, because I don't want to put the back of the car down, I do need to do the front drive shafts, and I'll explain that to you a bit later. But I think what we're gonna do, it's really hard to hold this camera, by the way. It's not a bloggy style camera, it's a proper camera. Anyway, we're gonna do a bit of stuff in here. So I'll set up the tripod and we'll talk about that now. Cool, that's easier. All right. So one of the major things I do need to do in here is my fuel pressure regulator, but I'm gonna do a whole episode on that. I'm still waiting for my injectors to come back from Max Performance. So they've got a bunch of injectors. They're flow testing them all and finding me the perfect set, and then putting new seals and stuff in them. So thank you to the legends at Max Performance. Zane and Lindsay, they are helping me out. And I'll show you a bit of footage of what they do. We'll actually show the flow tester. Very cool stuff. But in here, what we do have is, oh God, my time-lapse rig is on top of everything. Let's move that. Should have been more organized, sorry. Okay. From our friends at Raceworks, which is PAT, which is Premier Auto Trader, which is the company that owns Raceworks. They have sent me some brand new leads for the Nug, which is great because those leads are old and haggard, so we'll put them on, new leads. And also this one, which is very cool, is a brand new coil pack. So the coil pack on this car is the standard one, is the original one, sorry, that came with the car. So we have a brand new shiny replacement, so it's OEM style, so we're allowed to replace anything OEM style. It's not like a performance. The guys did say, we should do coil on plug. Trust me, I'd love to do that, but we're not allowed. We're gonna follow the rules. So it's a direct bolt-on replacement. So we'll put that on. Coils do tend to wear out over the years. You know, the spark isn't quite as strong. Now, obviously on a car like this, it's not a huge difference, not compared to a turbo car or something, but every little bit helps. And a new coil pack, I think, will be good. So, and it's shiny. I like shiny things. So we're gonna pop that in there. We'll bolt that on, plug that in, we'll put our new coils in, and we've got a set of 4 Denso plugs to go in there as well. So basically we're replacing most of the ignition system, which is nice. All brand new shiny stuff. Give us the best chance to make a little bit of power out of this old engine. So let's do that. I'm not too sure a lot of my mates watch this, but Brad, if you are watching, remember how you broke that clip and you were worried about it? We've got a new one going on. All good. Now, while we're in here, I found out the other day that you're supposed to run a thermostat. I didn't know this. I thought you could run the thermostat. Apparently I've been a naughty boy. Obviously it's gained me heaps of horsepower since I've been winning every single race. No, but anyway, I am going to be a good boy and put a thermostat in. I got one from Wayne. Problem is, I just put coolant in this car, so I'm going to have to dump some coolant out, which sucks. And then I can put in a new high flow thermostat from Wayne at Brakes and More. I haven't been digging around this area in a while. It looks a bit crusty down here, to be honest, a bit gross. All right, I'm going to try and reuse this because I've got some pretty good quality water wetter in there, which is also the weirdest name for something, water wetter. I always thought water was pretty wet in general, but I digress. All right. Let's drain. Oh no! Oh God, it's going everywhere. Of course it is. Too bad. So, as much as I'd rather save this for my new engine, this came in my VRS gasket kit for the new engine. I think I'm gonna have to put it on here because that gasket is absolutely FUBAR. It's just falling apart. So I'm gonna have to clean all that up. No, this is gross. Okay, fast forward a bit. I've used a scraper and a blade and I've got that all looking good. That was a pain in the neck. This is why when people go, Matt, why do cars take so long to work on? Because of stuff like this. You find it and it just slows everything down a lot. All right, finally, let's stick our thermostat in. Perfect. Our new gasket, which I'll now have to go and find another one for the new engine. Let's put our new coil pack on. Oh, God, how good are shiny parts. So good. The only negative thing I will say about this coil, it doesn't have the numbers written on it. Not a big deal, but it would be nice. Great. Fresh set of leads. Before I get too nuts on the coils, let's pull these plugs out, change them out. Okay, so that's our fresh plugs in. So now we can pop our leads in. The 3 is that guy. Cover back on. Dunzo, Washington. Okay, so next time we jump in this engine bay, we're going to do our fuel pressure reg and our clean injectors and that sort of stuff. So check back for that. For now, that is our engine bay done. I could change the oil, but we'll do that later. You guys don't need to see that. And I've got to obviously now top up the water. Sweet, let's get these drums on the back, get the car down, and then we can do the drive shafts. Sweet, okay, rear brakes are done. So, all painted up and nice and shiny, although I've got my dirty fingerprints all over them already. I got my wife to help me bleed them, so they're all bled and they're good to go. She was very nervous, going, are you sure the brakes are gonna work? I'm gonna go test this car at Winton before I go into the mountain anyway, so don't stress, babe, they're gonna work. These drums don't do anything anyway. They do like 10, 20% of the braking tops. Cool, but they're bled, they work, it's all good. So now I'll just pop the wheels back on. So these wheels are a bit weird. These are the old wheels I've got, and I can't run traditional wheel nuts on them. So I have to run these spline nut things, which are a bit sucky. But what I did do is I went online and I got some nice longer black ones. So when I run these wheels, I've got to run those wheel nuts, but I've got some longer black ones that look nicer and they're longer. So when I run the longer studs on the front, I'll still be able to use them. But for our new Koenig wheels from Mish's XL Garage, I do have some wheel nuts from him with the proper seat and everything. So we will be using those if we use those wheels. We've just got to swap nuts for the wheels. Bit annoying, but here's what it is. Anyway, let's get these wheels back on, and what's next? Drive shafts. Alrighty guys, I won't jabber on too long, but before we start here with the drive shafts, I just need to say a quick thing about the control suspension. So I did a video not long ago about the Super Shock control suspension, putting it in the car, and I had some pretty strong opinions. Not all negative, there were some positives in there as well. Remember, I'm an end consumer. I'm the guy here buying these control components full price and putting in my race car. I did get some things wrong though. So I spoke to Andrew. He's part of the, he was involved in the tender process on these control suspensions. So it was good to chat to him because we have no idea how this works. You know, like we don't get a lot of information on how it works or who's doing this or anything like that. So a lot of it is Chinese whispers, and that sucks. And it's not fair on the guys that work hard and usually not for any payment. They do this in their own time. So thank you guys for your hard work. A couple of things I got wrong. I said that the Super Shocks were made in China, boxed up, and that was wrong. Apparently, a lot of the parts are made overseas, some parts in Germany apparently, pretty cool, German engineering. Shipped to Australia, they're made or at least put together and tested and everything in Australia. So that's good, Australian jobs, I like that. So I do apologise, this was all Chinese whispers, this is just information I heard. I probably should have checked, I didn't know who to speak to. I do now, so my apologies, I got that completely wrong. Super Shocks are made in Australia with some overseas parts. Now I didn't hint at this, I don't believe, but there's a lot of stuff online that the tender process was kind of rigged, all this sort of stuff, that people were lining people's pockets. I haven't said that, I've heard people say that. I probably haven't disagreed with them because I don't know. But for the record, I was told that, so the tender process was based on a point system. Everybody could send in their shocks, and there was a point system. I'm not too sure what all the categories were. I'm guessing, I know one of them was definitely affordability, so cost of the shock to the end consumer. Obviously performance, setup, install, all this sort of stuff, how the shock performed, can they be serviced, all this sort of stuff. I imagine it's quite a big document. Anyway. And it all comes down to a number system. So they just rate it all on numbers. And at the end of the day, whoever's got the best score wins. And Super Shock won. Okay. Now, there was other shocks that were very good. However, they were quite expensive apparently. So they were just, there was one that was 3 times the price, which is ridiculous. Andrew didn't fill me in with names, obviously. You know, it's all a little bit classified. But yeah, he told me that basically Super Shock came down to being the most affordable shock that was the best quality and the easiest to work with. So yeah, that's basically it. You know, no one's, and he said, like, if people are getting kickbacks, he wants to know where his kickback is because he wasn't getting any money out of this. And none of them are. So yeah, basically, and I did say to him, you know, like, what about the rear camber bolt situation? Because I'm not going to lie, I think that's terrible. This slotted design is terrible. And he goes, you know what? It's not the best design, but that was the, you know, other shocks may have better designs, but they're just too expensive. And this fit into the budget of our category, and that's just what it is. So I won't retract the statement about the rear camber design being crap. I think it's terrible. I hate it. However, he did bring to my attention that Super Shock do make camber washers. Now, I had no idea. He said, yeah, when you go on the website to buy the shock, you should have an option to buy the shock with the camber washers. Now, I went on the website after the phone call and had a look, and yes, there is the option to buy the shock and buy the shock with the camber washers. Now, with almost absolute certainty, when I bought my shocks, that was not on the website. I messaged 3 of my good mates who have all bought the control suspension and asked them, did you have the option to buy camber washers? They've gone, they don't make camber washers. They actually had no idea that Super Shock make camber washers. And I said, have a look at the website. They looked and they said, there was no way that was on there when they bought them because they would have bought them too. And I would have. I would have bought the suspension with their camber washers, would have bolted in, would have been great. So that has been added recently. Apparently they've been around for a while, but everyone I've spoken to, no one knew this existed. So Probably a bit of a bad thing now on SuperShock's behalf. I mean, that should have been advertised. It should have been the website earlier. I can guarantee it wasn't when I bought my suspension, but there you go. Anyway, so they do make the cam washers, and apparently they're very good. They are hardened steel, I've been told. I don't know for a fact, but this is what I've been told. They're hardened steel, and they're really good. There is another guy who makes aftermarket washers. I believe they're brass. Don't quote me on that. So the hardened steel will be better, but they're also about 20% more. They're much more expensive than the aftermarket ones. So I still don't know whether I'm going to go with the SuperShock or go with the aftermarket ones. At the moment, they're ugga-dugga to $1 million to keep them from, go away fly, to keep them from moving, and they still need a shim to make them fit properly. That still sucks. Not gonna lie to you, because my MCAs fit in there perfect with no shim. I don't know what the story is there. Terrible tolerances, whatever. I will not retract that fact. It's the truth. So I'm still going to have to buy a shim. I'm still going to have to buy camber washers. The camber washers on SuperShock are $400, and those shims are $40. So I'm still up $440 to make these things work properly. And it's a safety issue too. I'm just going to have to do it. So anyway, after all that, I do apologize. I didn't want to ruffle any feathers. I'm basically an end consumer telling you my thoughts on the suspension. I gave information that I thought was correct, and some of it was wrong about being made in China, about there being no cam washers. So I do apologize. And sorry for anybody who mistook my thoughts on the tender process. I had no idea how it worked. I just knew that they were picked. I didn't understand why these were picked, but after having explained to me, it's good to know. So there you go. Hopefully that's informed a few of you guys as to how this process worked. I would love in the future, if there's another tender going out on the suspension or any part of the car, for them to almost document the process. It'd be really cool, and it would also stop anyone whinging. A lot of people bitched about this, me included, because I wasn't happy with some of the things. If they documented it, hell, you know what? I'll come video it for free. If you guys want me to come for a day and you can talk me through how the tender process works, I will come for free and I'll video and document, and we can talk to everybody and we'll put it out there, and you can tell everybody how these tender processes work, and then nobody can bitch about it. So there you go, guys, for the XL committee, for Sarah and for Hera and all the errors. Yeah, next time there is a tender process, please give me a buzz. I will come there and we will go through the tender process together, and we'll explain to everybody how it works. And I think that'll stop a lot of people bitching and whinging about how it all is finalized. Anyway, now that's all over, let's get back to happiness. So, what are these? These are drive shafts. These are drive shafts out of an X2 XL. So this is an X3. So there was an X1, X2, X3, which is 3 generations of XLs. The X2 was the middle generation, it was the older generation. They're exactly the same drive shaft, but they're 10 mil shorter. Why do we need that? Well, this is a problem with many different cars. I didn't have the problem with the MCAs. It was just, I believe the MCAs, because of the way the camber washers worked, it didn't cause this problem. But what the problem is, we run a lot of camber. We run 4 degrees of camber, and because it's front wheel drive, it pushes the drive shafts in, because we're tilting wheels in like this, pushes the drive shafts in, and they butt against each other inside their diff. Well, actually butts up against the main pin in the middle of the differential, which causes all sorts of clicking and grinding, and is very uncool and can destroy things. I think with the MCAs, because they have camber washers, they're down low, they just tilt the bottom section, whereas these, because they're adjusted up top, it tilts the whole thing in, and obviously it just pushes in that little bit more, which is making my drive shafts butt up against each other, which sucks, but it is what it is. A lot of people have this problem. It's no big deal. I backed the car out a couple of days ago, click, click, crunch, crunch. I'm like, damn it. Okay, so we've got some brand new drive shafts here from Wayne from Brakes and More. Wayne's a lovely guy, and Wayne hasn't sponsored me or anything. I paid for all this stuff, but I'm just letting you know, all his stuff is really reasonably priced. There's a bit of a problem in this industry. As soon as you put race in front of it, everyone jacks the price up hugely, and it's unnecessary, because all these parts, these are just street car parts. They're not race parts, they're just street car parts. So putting a big markup on it is a bit cheeky, I think, and Wayne's just doing them for street car prices, which is awesome. So I got bearings from him, I got discs from him, and obviously the drive shafts, and I got rebuild kits for calipers and the rear piston, all that stuff, and it was all just reasonably priced. So thank you, Wayne, for being a legend and not being a dick and marking things up because it says race on it. Good man. good man. He races himself and he's a very, very talented driver. I cannot keep up with him. I aspire one day to even be able to stay on his bumper for 2 laps. That'd be fantastic. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get these in the car. The other thing I've got here is a drive shaft seal. So I've replaced the drive shaft seal on the driver's side ages ago because it was leaking. I never got around to the passenger side. It is leaking all over my floor. I hate it. So when I pull that drive shaft out to replace it, we'll pop that seal in as well. That's about it, guys. I'm not going to show you this one. It's drive shafts. It's boring. I'm just going to set up a time lapse and we're going to smash this out and move on to something else. Let's do it. Oh man, this is what happens when you're filming and you're not concentrating and you forget that the gearbox is full of freaking oil. So, you pull the old dry shaft out and out comes all your delicious oil. Awesome. So it looks like I'm gonna redo the oil in the gearbox too. I guess it's about time, but I really wasn't planning on that. What a dickhead. Alright guys, we're going to call it there for today. Sorry, it's a bit of a mishmash of a video, but I'm really just trying to get stuff done to this car while I have the time off. I really don't get too much time off at the moment. My wife's doing an amazing job looking after the kids and trying to give me some time in the shed, but you know, dad life and self-employed life. So I'm trying to film for you guys, but at the same time, get stuff done. So both the new drive shafts are in. I did dump oil all over the floor because I'm an idiot and I completely just brain farted and forgot that when you pull the drive shaft out, all your oil just evacuates. It was a bit dirty though, so you know, that's the oil I put in the car when we first built it, so it's probably due for a change. So I'll go and source some decent oil for the gearbox. I've undone the plug now, I'm letting it all drain out, but I've got a new seal on the other side. Got new drive shafts in, they're all done up. And then I think in the next video, I was going to do it in this video, but we won't have time. So let me just get one. What I did is I went down to the Wreckers, I went down to pick apart, and I bought, Jesus, it's got a dent in it. Anyway, I bought 2 spare front brake calipers for the car. So I also got a seal, like basically a rebuild kit from Wayne from Brakes & More. So I'm going to strip the whole thing down, I'm going to clean it all out, flush it out, all new seals, clean up the pistons, and paint them a nice blue, because I bought some blue paint. And then basically that'll be a fresh, brand new caliper. I'm going to put them on the car. The ones on there are working at the moment, but I think it's time for a new, just a whole new setup. So the ones that have come off the car, I'll wrap them all up, they still work. Put them in a box and they'll be our spares. I can take them to the track. If I have any problems with these ones, I can just go, boom, bolt them straight back on, good to go. But yeah, these will be nice and clean, refreshed and rebuilt. So I'll probably do that in a video. I've never done it before, so maybe I'll film that and you guys can see how to do it or not do it, depending on how well we go. Yeah, that'd be good. And then, yeah, we've got, I'm gonna do a video on doing the knacker ducts. We got some polycarbonate from our mate Brendan Jenner, absolute legend. He gave me the rest of his sheet after he cut his out and it just works, it's just enough, so that's cool. So we'll do a video on that. And also once we get our injectors back from Max Performance, we'll do our fuel pressure regulator and do our fuel system. But today we did good. We did rear brakes, we've got front drive shafts, we've got new core pack in there, spark plugs, leads, and we got all you legends on the car, bar a few. I think I left out my mate Ryan Lee. I'm sorry, Ryan. I feel like a bad friend, but there's a few more, and I had a couple of donations today. Thank you, legends. That's very nice of you. So I'll get them cut and I'll get them on the car ASAP. There's only a few more spots left, and my mum dropped over today, and mum's like, I want to be on the car. So now there's even less spots left. So yes, there's a few more spots. So if you do feel like donating, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Look, if you really want to donate and the roof's full, I'm sure we can find space on the car for you. Thank you, legends. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your patience while I do all this. I am trying to make this entertaining, but it's a bit tricky. Anyway, stay safe. I'll see you in another video very soon. I can't even talk. I don't even know what time of night it is. I think it's like 11 or something now. I should probably go and have some dinner. All right. Cheers, legends. Bye.